With just 5 days to go now until the Premier League kicks off, I've made a few changes since my last video and I thought I'd take you through my latest draft. Starting off then with goalkeeper, defence and bench. I've got to say, I'm a little worried about Kelleher here. He missed the pre-season friendly that Brentford had yesterday. Not in the squad at all. FPL's got him as like a 75% chance of playing. I'm a little bit worried about him. I guess you can just go for Verbruggen or potentially Hermansen, who's just signed for West Ham as well. You could go for either one of those, I guess. And to be fair, you know, rotating with Dubravka is not too bad. Like, I could actually, if you look at my bench, I could actually start Dubravka if I didn't want a bench boost in game week 2 as well, for example. So I guess it's not the end of the world, but I'm a little bit worried about Kelleher. He stays in my team, though, for the time being, because I do think he's probably the best 4.5 million goalkeeper. But then again, you know, you've got Verbruggen and, like I said, Hermansen. I'm hoping he comes in at 4.5 million as well. Other defenders, we got Virgil van Dijk and Williams. There's no change there from my previous draft. I'm really confident in Virgil van Dijk. Well, I say I'm really confident. I think he's the best of the 6 million defenders with the defensive contribution points he's going to get. I think he offers some threat from set pieces. And I think Liverpool, on paper, are the strongest team in the league. The one thing that does concern me a little bit about Liverpool is I don't feel that they've strengthened defensively in the transfer window. So I do feel like they could concede some goals. But I think Van Dijk is going to be good for defensive contribution points. Proved that last season. He's going to get some attacking returns. They're going to obviously keep some clean sheets. And he's going to play every minute of every game, right? Van Dijk is just the stalwart in the Liverpool team. So we'll stick with him. Williams, I think, is the same. In terms of defensive contribution points, at least. I think he's going to be really good for those. He's going to play every game, I think, for Forest. He's one of Nuno's favourites. Suits the system really well. And comparing him to like the likes of Murillo and Milenkovic, yes, they're better and will probably score more points. But I think it's going to be really close. And I don't think it's worth spending the extra 0.5. Well, I can't afford it. You'll see with the rest of my team. But I also don't think it's worth spending the extra 0.5 million to get them. I think you just go with Williams. Diouf has really impressed me in pre-season for West Ham, playing left-back. Looks really attacking. I don't really know how he's going to do for defensive contribution points, but I had Joachim Andersen of Fulham in there last time, and I just didn't feel... I went for the DEFCON points with him. I just didn't feel massively confident in him. I just couldn't... Forgive me, but I just couldn't bring myself to pick a Fulham defender. I think he only kept like 4 or 5 clean sheets last year. Obviously, I'm not saying West Ham are going to do better, but I just didn't trust it. And my gut told me I should probably go for Diouf. So he's in my team now. Richards on my bench. We've got, and this is courtesy of FPL Harry, so I'm going to give full credit to FPL Harry for this one. You probably already know who FPL Harry is if you're watching this channel. But there's a really nice rotation between, well, I mean, Wan-Bissaka's in this picture, but Diouf counts the same. There's a really nice rotation between Crystal Palace and West Ham in terms of defensive fixtures. I think each week one of them has a green fixture. So Diouf has Sunderland, then Forest for Richards, Forest for West Ham, Sunderland, West Ham for Crystal Palace. Sorry, I got confused with the teams, I think, there. But you know what I mean. There's a really good rotation right up until game week 10. So I'm really happy, I think, to pick these two and rotate if I need to. Steve of Burnley or Stev, I don't actually know how to pronounce it still. Someone told me in the comments, but I've forgotten. I think of all 4 million defenders in the game, he's probably the best. And I think with how this team is sort of lining up, it's becoming more and more like it makes sense to bench boost in game week 2. We'll just see what happens with Mark Gu's minutes. You know, I think there's enough. I think Chelsea have a minutes clause in the loan agreement as well, where Sunderland have to pay a fee if he doesn't play a certain number of minutes. So I think this bench makes sense, really. Steve is going to do well. You know, Burnley kept 30 clean sheets in the Championship last year. I know they've changed goalkeeper, got Dubravka, who's not as good as James Trafford, but 30 clean sheets in the Championship, I think, suggests what Scott Parker's going to do with Burnley this season. He's going to sit back, try and defend, keep some clean sheets and be difficult to beat. And in terms of keeping clean sheets and defensive contribution points, I think that's going to mean a Steve or a Stev does well this season. So yeah, that's my defence and my bench. Change from Anderson to Diouf. I'm a little bit worried about Kelleher. You know, there's other options around the price point. Just got to keep our eye on him, I think. I just want to say all of the expected points data and basically graphics that you see on this video is powered by Fantasy Football Hub. You can use Fantasy Football Hub, put your team in. You can input a screenshot of your team from FPL into the tool. It will give you projected points for every player in your team and, more importantly, an AI rating. I find the AI rating pretty useful for building my draft. So if you want to get your team rated by AI totally for free, use the link at the top of the description below. My midfield, as things stand, hasn't changed yet, but there's a couple of players that could. Salah and Palmer, I think, are locks. Bruno Fernandes, I'm pretty confident going in the season with him. You know, DEFCON points, I think Man United are going to be improved. He just plays every game, doesn't he? And I really like those game week 2 and 3 fixtures. Rodgers is the main issue. I'm also quite impressed by Reinders of Man City as well. I probably won't start with Reinders, but I think in those two players, Anderson and Reinders, we've got a couple of players that I think could be really good at 5.5 million. Rodgers, though, is the real issue I've got at the moment. So he came off in the pre-season friendly with what looked to be an ankle injury. There's very little news about him at the moment. The news from the Athletic journalist here, Jacob Tanswell, suggests that he's hopeful of featuring against Newcastle. You know, Villa are hopeful that he will feature. But hopeful, is that enough for me to pick him in my FPL team? You know, what do you think? Are you picking Rodgers? Let me know in the comments. There's a couple of alternatives, easy swaps really. You know, straight swap for Semenyo, 7 million, put up very similar numbers to what Rodgers did last season for Aston Villa. The only thing with Semenyo, obviously, is that really difficult fixture against Liverpool, but I think he's being overlooked as an asset in general, really, because once you get that Liverpool fixture out of the way, they're really good for him, and I think he's gonna do well this season. Is Semenyo, so yeah, I like Semenyo. I think he could be a perfectly decent replacement for Rodgers. Also, you've got Iliman Ndiaye as well, 6.5 million, so he's a little bit less. Very, very popular in the game, even amongst engaged managers. But I'm just played 33 games for Everton last season and put up 6 expected goals, right? He might play every minute, he might be on penalties, might be their talisman, but the numbers last season didn't excite me enough, and he didn't get a single assist, right? Semenyo got 2 more goals and 7 assists. You know what I mean? It's just, can I bring myself to pick Ndiaye? Yeah. Still a little bit stuck on Rodgers. I think one of these will come in to replace him if he's in any way of a doubt. I'm leaning towards Semenyo. It does put me at a little bit of a disadvantage for game week 1. But once that Liverpool fixture's out of the way, like I said, they look pretty good. A rogue shout that I can't afford at the moment, but one that I actually really like, is Cody Gakpo. Now, obviously, tragically lost Diogo Jota during the summer, who probably would be in the, you know, there's no easy way to say this. You know, he would have been in that Liverpool team. And obviously other players as well. They don't really have a left-sided attacker, is what I'm trying to say with Liverpool at the moment, for various circumstances, including obviously the sad passing of Diogo Jota and Diaz moving to Bayern Munich as well. Sorry, it's a little bit awkward trying to talk about that because, you know, some tragic events happened this summer that we're all aware of, and it impacts FPL. So I'm trying to say it in the most sort of, the best way, basically. But what I'm trying to lead to is that Cody Gakpo is going to get good minutes this season, I think, for Liverpool. You know, 15 attacking returns from 35 appearances. He didn't play 90 minutes every game last season. He did outperform his XG, but he's a good finisher. I don't think the fixtures are horrific for Liverpool, and they're obviously going to be probably the best attacking team in the league, and he's going to be part of that attack. I just don't see a way in which he doesn't start on the left side. I think Wirtz probably plays as a 10. You've got Ekitike, maybe Isak up front. But even if Isak signs, I don't think Ekitike is going to be moved to the left side, for example. I just think he's going to play some good minutes. Can't afford him at the moment, though, is the only problem. When you see the summary of my team, might be able to chop and change to get him in. But I do like him as an option, and I think he's going to get some good minutes. All right, out front, Watkins and João Pedro then. Had Solanke in my team previously. He's gone. I do not have any faith in Solanke starting now in Game Week 1 as things stand. Unless he gets some good minutes in the Super Cup on Tuesday, I think it is, isn't it? I'm going nowhere near him. I've got João Pedro at the moment. Now, there's plenty of other strikers you could pick. I think, number one, you could actually just go 4-5-1 and have one forward, but I don't want that. I don't want just one forward. Chris Wood, I like. He obviously scored 20 Premier League goals last season. But Forest have looked really quiet from an attacking point of view in pre-season. I watched Planet FPL. They had Mark Southerns, who's just moved to work for FPL, is their Nottingham Forest correspondent. He's really worried how they play without Elanga. You know, the style of Nottingham Forest suited Elanga as an attacker down to a T. And without him, I think we've seen it already, their goal threat is going to be reduced, and it's going to take them some time to play without him, to learn how to play without him. They've obviously signed a new player in his place, etc. But it looks like they're going to need some time to adjust from an attacking point of view. I'm not sure of Chris Wood's output. Thinking of the other sort of 7-ish million strikers I'd want to buy. Evan Nilsson's pretty good, but you've got that Liverpool fixture first up. He's not a long-term option in my team, don't get me wrong. And I think the one thing that worries me about João Pedro, if he starts, missing out on minutes or has a bad start to the season, with his ownership being so high, he's going to go down in price, and I'm going to get burned on some price changes if that does happen. But from what we've seen of him in the Club World Cup, from what we've seen of him in pre-season, he looks great, doesn't he? Let's be honest. He looks great. Chelsea striker, 7.5 million. I think he's going to be really good. And then Ollie Watkins, I think he is the only striker in the game at the moment who doesn't have any question marks associated with him. Going to start every game, probably play 90 minutes. Good fixtures. Villa have got really good fixtures. I didn't mention that when talking about Rodgers, but their fixtures are probably the best first 5 fixtures of any team from an attacking point of view. And he just guarantees you like 15 to 20 goals a season. So there's no doubt in my mind I'll be going with Watkins. I think João Pedro is going to be in there. It's just a case of maybe going 4-5-1. Just on Solanke as well, the news we've got, there's a quote from Thomas Frank saying quite soon he will be available. That's literally the best quote I could see about Solanke. He's not featured at all yet in pre-season. He would have been perfect in my team. So Solanke and Watkins, I'd have been so happy with that front two. But yeah, we can't be sure he's going to play, can we? So I can't pick him. Anyway, team in summary then. We've spoken about Kelleher. We've spoken about Rodgers. Those are probably the two that could be replaced. I know I haven't changed my team too much, but it might be changed quite drastically if these two are out. And I think I've spoken around the replacements I'll use for them. 64.6 expected points according to Fantasy Football Hub and a 95% AI rating. Don't forget that you can get your team rated by AI for free in the comments below. And if you enjoy what you see with Fantasy Football Hub, sign up. 50% off using my link in the description. And if you don't win your mini league, you get your money back. Let me know what you think of that team in the comments below. All right, well, that's the end of the video. I'll do one more team selection video, you'll be pleased to hear, before the game actually launches, and then we'll be live to the deadline, so you'll see what my team looks like. Really excited to get this game going now, to be honest with you. I think I've done a fair share of thinking in drafts for one season. Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please leave me a like rating. Let me know in the comments if there's any changes you'd make to this team. And if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the Golden Goal channel. Should be just there on your screen. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video.